Let's do it.
Okay, ladies and gents, it's time for Rage in the Cage.
Finish him.
So strap in and join the fight in the comments below. Pick a side, Team Marq or Team Jay. Who will it be?
All right, here we go. Yes, the next round of Rage in the Cage, Ledger versus Phoenix. I guess I'll start.
Yeah, I need you to start.
Okay, listen. The main difference here, listen, it may be the same character, but they're both different versions, completely different versions of the Joker. But this is where I give credit to Phoenix, okay? What the Dark Knight failed to do, I won't call it failed to do, we didn't see the background story. We didn't see the true background story and origin story of his version of the Joker. But with Phoenix's movie, we did. And we got to see the man become the Joker. It took one bad day. And we saw this man we saw a broken man, an abused man. Now keep in mind, Phoenix has, growing up, suffered child abuse. And that's why I knew he was going to be great at this role. And I just felt like just watching this man go from point A to point B and everything that happened, it was fascinating. I just feel like, to me, that was the best performance you could have gotten from a Joker movie. That's my opening argument. Marq. Dion, you got any points you want to add or any takeaways from that?
No, I'm gonna go ahead and let Marq go, and I'll because I love listening to you guys.
Okay.
I'm a fan.
All right. This is gonna be a hard one because I don't disagree with anything that you said. I absolutely loved Joaquin Phoenix's performance in Joker. I saw it multiple times. It's definitely up there as far as like top performances, but I gotta go with Heath Ledger, man. Like, and all of the things that you pointed out they also serve as my counterpoints, right? So like, let's start with the fact that in Joker we get a backstory, right? We find out who he is, what his name is, what his past was like, how he evolves into this character. Right? All good things in one sense, but in another sense, all of the things that make the Joker are based around the fact that you don't know who he is, and you don't have and you don't get his identity. You don't know what makes him tick, right? And Ledger's version gives you that. When he's actually in the police station and they're trying to figure out who he is. No prints. Custom clothes. Yeah. No background.
I love that scene.
You have no clue who he is. You have no clue how to deal with him. And there's something menacing about that. He doesn't even have to be physically menacing for you to actually be a little bit afraid of him. And then at the same time, there's a weird kind of charm about the way that he played the Joker. Yeah. Where it's like, this is a scary guy, but I would probably hang out with this dude.
I know you would. You did. You did though.
Right. For a minute. So that's one point. And then the other point is the fact that Joaquin Phoenix turned out a fantastic performance, but he had a history of turning these great performances out. Right? We knew that we could expect something fantastic from him. With Heath Ledger, nobody expected that. Yeah. No. If anybody that is watching right now that remembers this time,
when the backlash.
The backlash was severe. Everybody was like, dude, the Brokeback Mountain guy, the guy from, like the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You, that's who you're going to cast as the Joker. Oh my God, this is going to suck. It's going to be terrible. And then you go to see it and you're just like, what did I just watch? Yeah. It was just this incredible it was just this incredible performance that came out of nowhere, and he did his version of the Joker. He didn't like base it off of like, anybody else's version. He barely laughed. You know what I mean? Like it was something that he like. I think he based it off of Tom Waits.
That's what I was gonna say. He did. It wasn't his original idea. He did base it off of another, of another actor from the 20s or whatever, or the 30s or whatever. Yeah.
Well, Tom Waits is a singer. Tom Waits is actually like a. I don't know how you would categorize his music, but he's like a singer from the 70s and 80s. Okay. And I think he's still active. But the way that he talks and his demeanor and things like that, he was basically doing an impression of Tom Waits, and he kind of added his own like mannerisms to it to sort of make himself into this version of the Joker.
Okay.
So the creativity that came from that, to me, is unmatched. I don't think that. I don't know if there'll ever be another version of the Joker that'll be that impressive to me, and that's my opening.
Okay, I'm gonna counterpunch you, man. So the one I'm gonna point out right now, Phoenix sacrificed his health and his body for the role. He was dangerously freaking skinny. It was gross. He ate one apple a day to shred all that weight to look nasty like that. Okay, the amount of work he put in to prepare is just unheard of. And that's just going to be my other thing is Ledger, from what I understand, he stayed up through the night, like didn't sleep the previous night before shooting to act the way he did, and his eyes getting drilly and in his mannerisms. But what Phoenix had to do for the role was a lot more excruciating.
And you could make that argument, yes, but it doesn't mean that Ledger didn't also sacrifice and do things to sort of develop his version of the character. I mean, this guy was the original quarantiner, right? He locked himself in a hotel room and wouldn't let anybody in, didn't talk to anybody for weeks until he could figure out like exactly who this version of the Joker was going to be. You know what I mean? And like he didn't sacrifice his diet or anything like that, but certainly sacrificed a piece of his sanity, because I don't think that I could do anything like that. So that's my counterpunch.
Okay, I see the chat here, Mr. Scott Bannock. I see Heath sacrificed his life, not necessarily because he was done with the role by the time he passed away. It wasn't the Dark Knight wasn't the reason why he passed away. So let's get that. I just want to get that out there.
Can we agree Jared was the worst? Yes, I think we can.
Now listen, in the defense of Jared, I didn't think. Okay, yes, he's my least favorite, but I just don't think we really got enough to really justify. So I'm not. But again, it wasn't a good movie. But I'm just saying, we didn't see enough. Now that's what going to be my next point. Is Heath Ledger, even though he won the Oscar, he was Best Supporting Actor, but Heath Ledger was only on screen for 7 minutes. Phoenix carried the whole movie. Yep.
Yeah, I can't really say anything about that.
Phoenix carried the movie.
But that doesn't mean that Ledger couldn't carry that movie.
No, I'm not saying that Ledger wasn't capable, but the thing is, there were so many moving parts in The Dark Knight. I did not like Christian Bale, but you had a great Commissioner Gordon. You had a great atmosphere. You had a lot of other great actors and moving parts. I feel like Heath Ledger was just one part of a cogwheel, like one cogwheel that made the movie work, whereas Heath Ledger is the centerpiece, the focal point of his Joker.
You mean Joaquin Phoenix? Yeah. You mean Joaquin Phoenix. So I get what you're saying there, but I don't know that I agree that there weren't other moving parts that like made that story work. I mean, you look at the relationship between him and Zazie Beetz, and then you look at and then you look at the interaction with his mom and with Thomas Wayne and with the young Bruce Wayne, and Robert De Niro's character, even, as small as that was, it was such a pivotal part of like who he was like aspiring to be. Right. Like, so I don't know that like you can really say that he carried that movie. Like he did a great performance, but like there were other actors in that turned in phenomenal performances that really help that narrative. So my counterpoint to that, though, my counterpoint to your point is not so much that, but I'll say that the makeup for Ledger's Joker was far superior.
Yes. Yeah, because
you know what I mean? Far more inventive. Right. Far more inventive with the Chelsea grin, far more menacing. There was something about how the eyeliner kind of was just messy and kind of goopy, and like it kind of lent itself to the personality that this Joker would have, which is like, I don't care about anything, and I think that those little nuances kind of like add something without him having to really say what it is. Okay. I think that also gives you some inkling, not really like, it doesn't really tell you who he is. It doesn't really tell you his backstory, but it opens the door for you to sort of come up with your own fan theories, if you will, about what might have happened to him.
There's a good fan theory out there, and it's been out there a while, is that Heath Ledger's version of the Joker was an Iraqi veteran.
Yes.
That's actually a pretty intriguing theory. I actually like that one.
That one makes a lot of sense to me too, especially like the conversation he has with Two-Face, like as far as like, like a bunch of soldiers get hit with an IED and like no one cares, just like,
and he's prepping the bombs, and he did on Michael Jai White, he, made the pencil disappear. So it's a good theory that only a soldier trained to do that, maneuver right there. I mean, you guys have martial arts background, like, that. So no, that's a good theory.
Even the bank robbery scene in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the strategy, like you could tell like that is somebody who has like leadership experience, that has like a sense of timing, that knows maps, that would have like all of those like characteristics of somebody who like had probably been in war.
Okay.
So that theory makes a lot of sense to me. It's never been confirmed or anything like that, but that's what I'm talking about is like, you don't have to actually know the story for that character to be interesting. And on a lot of levels, it makes that character more compelling.
Okay. I got a counterpunch to that. Okay, to what you just said, everything about the theories and stuff. Well, Phoenix's version, a lot of theories too. Did it really happen? Was it all in his head? Did he really lead the charge? Like, was he just in the mental house the whole time? Was he just telling the story? Did it really happen? So there's a lot of people still haven't figured it out yet. We haven't even gotten a true definitive answer. So again, there's the theories on that one too. So
yeah, you're right. I especially like. Well, I can't really talk about this theory, because it involves a spoiler. But but there's one that we'll talk about off camera.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So Dion, you got to be the tiebreaker here. Like, tell us your thoughts.
Go ahead and do your thoughts, but I have one last argument. But Dion, go first. Okay. Dion, go first, and I'll have my closing.
So, just my thought is that they are both beautiful, masterful performances.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
For me, I gotta go with Marq. And I'll tell you why. And actually, a lot of what Marq said to me is actually based around one scene, and that's that real introductory scene when he's meeting the mobsters for the first time. And the development of that character becomes so. And I actually watched a video. So some of this is not my original thought, even because I don't know anything about movies. I don't know anything about writing. And
we don't either. we just like movies.
But the development of the character, because you don't know anything about him, but he slowly reveals these things, and it like Marq said, it makes him super compelling. And a great example is that he comes in, right? He's in this room full of people who want to kill him. He's like, calm down. I'm in charge. Everything is cool. Let me tell you why you're getting punked, yada, yada. The minute that Michael Jai White's character calls him crazy, that's the first time you see him like,
yes.
He's like, what? And he's like, wait, I'm not crazy. And so you're already seeing like, that's the one thing that bothers him. And then when it happens again later in the scene, he's like, I'm not crazy. And he, You start to see these things, the pencil trick. He has no regard for human life. And you start to see this onion being peeled of this character that you know nothing about, but you can just tell that he is out there and he's dangerous and he's vicious and he can handle himself on top of it. He can kick everyone's ass in the room anyway. Then he comes in with, and my favorite part is that then he's like, okay, things got out of hand. Let's just whip out a grenade. Because I'll kill myself too. I have no regard for my own life. It is what, and that to me, on top of the acting, on top of just the emotion, the tics, the licking of the lips, the flicking of the hair, all of it to me is just so masterful and so compelling that, like you're saying, he's only on the screen for 7 minutes. He could have been on the screen for a hot hour, and I would have been just riveted onto his character. Just, the subtle things, how he sits, how he moves, everything about it made this character so, to me, magical.
Yes.
And then the fact that I think Mark kind of comments on this too. You don't know where the scars come from.
Yeah.
And then
he gives two different scenarios.
He gives 2 different scenarios. You're like, well, what? That's not what you said before. Like, is he crazy? Like, is he like, does he even know himself? And to me, like, I remember getting to the end of that movie. Not even the end, the scene where he's in the car and he, the car is going and he's gone, and just being like the rest of the movie, I was like, where's he?
Right.
More Joker. Like, what happened? And then being so ready for another movie with that character.
Yeah,
and obviously that never, and that to me, that I remember that feeling leaving the theater was that I have to see the sequel and see more of that. And the fact that didn't happen,
it's unfortunate because there were plans. There were plans in the third movie, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
I could have done so much more of that.
I know. And The Dark Knight Rises, it's just,
it's hard.
I got problems with that movie, but that's another topic for another day. But The Dark Knight is the perfect quintessential comic book movie. I give that, but I have to say the best Joker to me is Phoenix. And I have one closing thing. Listen, I probably lost this big because it's 2-on-1. I don't know what the audience says here, but listen, I have my one closing argument here. This is where I put Phoenix over the top. Okay. I'm sorry, there's some semi-spoiler warning. The scene where he reads the file, when he finds out what happened with his parents, that he finds out the truth about what happened to him. It's one of the most gut-wrenching scenes I've ever seen in my life. My stomach dropped. I couldn't bear it. It was the topics, what they talked about, and what really happened to that character. It was riveting. It killed me to watch it. It still kills me to watch that scene. It really does. And to see his uncontrollable laugh. They made it. His laugh is like Tourette syndrome. Like when he's feeling pain, he's laughing. He was crying, but he was laughing, and you can see only Phoenix could have pulled that off. Where you could tell he's crying, but he was laughing, and he couldn't help it. He was laughing in pain. And that was the best scene right there. That'll never be replicated again. That scene alone just puts not only the best Joker ever, but one of the best performances ever. And there's a reason why he won the Oscar for that. I mean, that scene alone is just so powerful. It's gut wrenching. And like I said, I don't want to give this whole spoiler away, but when it's all revealed, you feel for him. This is a Joker. This version of the Joker, you feel for him. He's not justified of the stuff he does, but you feel for him, and it's awful. And only Phoenix could have pulled that off. And that laugh is just so haunting. And he he chokes when he's trying to stop and he can't help himself. It's just wow. If anyone, I mean, that's just my closing argument right there. No one else could have pulled that off. That's my closing argument.
Right. So let me ask you this too, because I watched that same scene and I love it as much as you do.
Yes.
I read that scene completely differently than you did. And so I don't know if I should even talk about it. I mean, the movie's been out for a while, but
it has. We're well over.
Let me see if I can word it in a way that it won't be a spoiler.
Go ahead.
Do you think that the information in that file is trustworthy? Because
that's one of the things I was talking about. Like, you could debate if that, what really happened with Thomas Wayne and what was Arthur Fleck's mother. Yeah, it's debatable. I mean, So that's another thing. That's one other thing that's riveting about this movie is that's another, that's debatable. What really happened? Was that file even real, or was it really? Was it really telling? Like, was that really what happened with his parents? So
Right.
But yeah, it's such a powerful scene. It's gut wrenching. It really is gut wrenching.
It's a great scene. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree on that.